Alright guys, we're back for round 3. Unfortunately, I did have to skip round 2. So I'm just waiting for Trinket to get in the game. The future match is our 2-0 players, I think. Yes, 2 of our 2-0 players. Okay, so... Trinkets here. Oh, and I have to scroll up again. Alright. Please, and you can start playing. So, we've got 2 over 2-0 players. So I'm interested in seeing what they're on. Okay, this is interesting. This is the mono green Stompy deck again that we saw in round 1. I was thinking these Nissa would be from the sideboard. I would like to see some. I was thinking these would be from the sideboard, but apparently he's playing now main board. I mean, 5/5 lands are, yeah, they do damage, you know. So, this hand is looking a bit slow and also a tad risky if he doesn't find his third. I mean, he really needs like 3 more lands before for this hand to do much. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Stream up. All right. So I'm sorry for that. Okay, can you please refill his hand? Can you refill? Okay, very good. So this is what I think this is Bant humans. It might be just straight blue-white, but I'm guessing it would be Bant. That makes the most sense to me, at least. And this is a pretty good hand from Thinker here. He's got, especially if he finds a fetch land, he's in business. Especially because a Stompy player will not have a play until turn 3, probably. So this is a Thrabenus back there. So, and then next turn he's probably gonna play the Pacifist, and only after that play the Thalias. The fun thing with Pacifist is that if it gets a +1/+1 counter, they can't attack unless you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Clause actually just doesn't matter anymore because it has 4 power itself. So I imagine that we will see the Lamphold Pacifist come down. And he might not even need the 3rd land for this draw to be good. If he just goes Pacifist into Lieutenant, that's a lot of damage. And it will go really quick, especially because the Steel Leaf Champion is the first thing that Arthur is playing. Zed is playing. He did find the 3rd land, so that's good. So he is able to play one of his 2 Steel Leaf Champions. And picking up the 2nd one also makes him less reliant on drawing another land. So, this is in fact Bant human. So, no land for Trinket, but I imagine the Lieutenant is gonna come down and he's gonna swing in for 4. That also manages to trade with the Steel Leaf Champion if Zed would decide to block. If I was playing a slower deck here, I might crack the clue to find a land, but you're an aggro deck, you just want to go fast. And this goes fastest. Because this also gets to be a 3/3 on the next Lieutenant, so we're going pretty fast. So that's a swing for 4. Zed is gonna take it, that makes sense. Finds the 4th land, so the question here is if you want to play the Zurich or the Champion. He's going for Zurich. Yeah, I like that because the Champion gets to come down with haste next turn. And the Zurich gives itself haste. Oof. This is 10 damage right here on turn 4. Even without a 1 or 2 drop, that's going pretty good. So, it kind of sucks that Trinket didn't get a land drop. Usually Reflector Mage is great in this spot. Like, Reflector Mage will do a lot of work here. But he doesn't have it. He's gonna jump with the lieutenants. I don't like that line. Do I? No, I don't like that line. I think if you jump with the inspector, because the lieutenant will get bigger eventually. There's the land. He really would have liked that spell queller last turn, and now it kind of sucks that you don't have the lieutenant anymore. But I'm guessing you will play this. My guess is that you play the Thraben Inspector and then play the Thalia's Lieutenant. And then you really are hoping to draw a Reflector Mage at some point. Reflector Mage would be great in this spot. I think this game looks a lot different if he drew the Prairie Stream last turn. It makes his turn 3. There would just be another Thraben Inspector with another counter on it on board. And the good thing about playing... he's gonna attack. Okay, that's fine. I don't quite understand why you would attack before playing the Lieutenant, because I imagine you're playing Lieutenant. I think that holding up Spell Queller is just... Although, hold on. I mean, Zed is at 7. So... he can't really attack. I don't know. This is a bad play. This can't have been the right play. Now I think about it, I really like holding up the Queller because you just threaten lethal, so Zed can't really attack. And you just get to counter whatever he plays, and then you have a flying beater. I do not like the line of play that Trinket took here. Because now you're down at 10 and there's a lethal attack coming next turn. Well, if you hold up the Queller, the Zerg couldn't really have attacked, and you would have actually been able to counter the Steel Leaf Champion here. This is not how you are supposed to play this, I'm pretty sure about that. Let's see. So this has 2 counters on it, so it's what, a 3-4 right now? So you can play either the Rallier, so that's a 3-4 and a 3-2, so that's 6. I might actually play the Rallier here. Wait, is there anything good here? And you can actually get a free attack off with the small Thraben Inspector, because if he blocks you get back another Lieutenant with the Rallier, and that's like really good. Yes. So I think the line of play from Trinket here would be attack with... He's not gonna do that. What's he gonna play? He's gonna play the Rallier then? I think that the attack with the Thraben Inspector is pretty much free at this point, because switching up your Thraben Inspector for another Lieutenant is a deal that you probably want to take. Oh, and Ripjaw Raptor is going to be pretty good. And he also did not double block the... This is a really interesting line. I know. I think Trinket made a couple of pretty interesting, well, dubious plays over the last few turns. So let's see what he draws. If he finds a land and a Reflector Mage, he's probably still dead. Yeah. That game was his fault as well. I think there were a number of turns he could have played differently to probably win. I think you probably want to hold on that Remox command anyway, because with another Lieutenant counter, the Lamphold Pacifist will actually grow bigger than the 5-4 Elvis Champion. So that would have been able to, you know, fight with the Champion. So I don't actually have the ability to pull up lists here. But from the human side, I don't see what you want to bring in. You're on the play, so you probably want to keep in Queller. Queller is going to be really good versus champion. I'm not sure if he has Saddle in his board. I sometimes just throw Saddle in the sideboard of aggressive decks because it can be a real game breaker versus Atarka and these Stompy decks. So from the mono green side, I don't think there's much you want to bring in. I'm really interested in seeing how the second game goes. So first hand, this is actually an interesting hand. Because you've got the Llanowar Elves, so if you draw another land, you can play a champion on turn 2 and maybe even a Raptor on turn 3, so that would be really good. And you've also got another Elves you can technically play. I might be inclined to keep this, I think, especially because you're up a game, so I think it's okay taking this risk. It's risky though, if it doesn't pay off, you're in trouble. So let's see what ends up happening. Sarwak is actually really good in these decks. I didn't even know this card existed before today. The greatest honor is to feed a Tarka. I don't think I agree with that, but anyway, the card is really sweet. So that's the Thraben Inspector. Thank you. Seal Away is probably from the sideboard, and that will be sweet in this matchup. Reflector Mage is also good, so I imagine the player is to put a counter on the Inspector, fight the Llanowar Elves. Just bolt the bird. I think that's a fine play. You're not doing anything else with your mana this turn anyway, so I like that. So here's a Dramoka's command. It reads, choose to, I mean, I think y'all know this card. It's so extensive standard play. He did manage to fire, oof, if that Llanowar Elves would have lived, this would have been a very different game. So let's see. You definitely play the island, of course, and the question is if you want to Reflector Mage the Llanowar Elves, or if you want to play Thalia's Lieutenant. Wait, he just paused the turn. He's making some really questionable plays. I don't think that pausing the turn is something you can ever do in this matchup. I don't see why you wouldn't play the Thalia's Lieutenant. So here you seal away the Llanowar Elves. You sack the clue and draw a card, and this is not how you want to play this matchup. So I think you just want to raise him. Tracker isn't great in this matchup, it's pretty slow. So I imagine that the player is to play the Pacifist, play the Lieutenant, swing in for 3. So here's a Pacifist. This will fetch a Prairie, a Canopy Vista. Why is he not playing the Lieutenant? Huh? I'm so confused right now by how he's playing this. I don't think there's a reason not to play the Lieutenant. The Lieutenant is so good here. He's gonna hold up Seed Away. I don't like that. You just wanna, like, you're if you play the Lieutenant, you're way ahead on board. And you just race him, and you have the Reflector Mage to kill the first big dumb threat he plays out, and you should be fine. I mean, I'm guessing it's somewhat gonna work out because you're able to seal away the Surak. So that is actually having a think about it. I imagine he saw the deck list, saw the seal away. So I imagine he's just thinking if he wants to attack. And so how much power is this? 8, 9? I think the decision Zed was making is, do I hold back the Surak so I can get a hasty Ghalta next turn? But I mean, the seal away is somewhat gonna do work now, I guess. Yes, seal away is pretty decent there. I think this game might still work out for Trinket, even though he took some really weird lines. I don't think you can ever just pause the turn on turn 3 without having a Queller in your hand, because you just, like, you're an aggressive deck. Trading off the land, that seems wrong. You're 5 life ahead, you're ahead on board. It makes your Lieutenant a lot better. I don't think this is the play, to be honest. I just saw that, but there's a Woodland Battler in Zed's hand. That's really cool. It's got some good targets as well. So now the Lieutenant comes down. Seems bad. I don't like the way... I think he still wins the game because he has 3 Reflector Mages, and Reflector Mage lines up very well against the threats that Zed is putting out. Like, Reflector Mage Ripjaw Raptor is a sweet play. So, here's a Reflector Mage, bounce your Ripjaw Raptor. Hit you for, how much is that? 5? Yeah, he's probably got this game. But I still don't really like how he played it. I think the seal away turn is, now I think about it, it's a little better. Although, it's also like only good if he has exactly Surak, because otherwise the seal away is just dead. So it might still, if you think about it, be better to just play the Lieutenant. And that turn 3, that was just horrible. That was, that cannot be the right line of play. I think it's, yeah. Imagine if the Thalios Lieutenant would have come down a turn earlier. So the Steel Leaf Champion is going to get Reflector Maged. I imagine this is a Reflector Mage. You can wait on the Collected Company, but you can Reflector Mage that and then just attack for... Okay. Zed is just gonna scoop him up. Makes sense. So... Can he please reveal his hand? I'm not talking, sorry. Okay, so this hand is looking alrightish from Zed. And Trinket does not have much going on. I don't think you can afford to mulligan this, but the hand still isn't great. So there's a Thraven Inspector. This is a Death Guard Scavenger on turn 3. That's probably from the sideboard, and I like it. It's just a pretty solid card overall. It's got a lot of 2-drops. So here you just hold up the seal away. The seal away is able to kill the Death Guard Scavenger off quite nicely. And Zed currently doesn't have a play for his turn 3. So that's pretty good. For Trinket at least. And then next turn you get to hold up the Queller. Although the problem with Queller is that he's gonna have far. So I'm hoping Trinket sees that. But if you hold up the Queller next turn, while you see that Zed didn't have a play here, you know that Zed had 4 mana. So if he had anything that costs 4 less, he would have played it. So the Queller probably won't have a target. So I think the correct play here on Trinket turns 3 is probably to run out the Tireless Tracker. So I imagine this is gonna get the seal away. Let's see. Just thinking about this. But I don't see a reason not to seal away this, because you're gonna have a hard time playing seal away. I mean, I guess you can play the Rallier next turn and then you have potentially 5 mana the turn after, but then you need to hit another land drop from your deck. So I don't think that's a good play. Also, now I think about it, you should generally just play the Rallier next turn, because you currently don't have another land to activate the tracker. The Reflector Mage can wait. Although, I don't mind playing the Reflector Mage here, because you saw him have no turn 4 play. So if you put him back on mana, he probably still won't have a play. I think that's something to consider. This is just wrong. I mean, I already discussed this, but you know that he doesn't have a turn 4 play. He had 4 mana, so this turn he's gonna have 5. So if he's gonna play something, it's gonna cost more than 4, and your Queller is gonna be dead. So this just does not. Trinket is not playing well. I don't think he's playing that well. So this is gonna be a swing for 5 with the land. Trinket going down to 14. He does get to Reflector Mage a land, which is somewhat interested. And I don't like this play either. I think you just flash in the Queller as a 2-3, because you're not going to be costing Queller anytime soon. Collected Company is a really good draw, by the way. Like, Collected Company is exactly the draw you're looking for here. So Thraben Inspector is going to knock Nissa down a peg, and then we will probably see a Collected Company somewhere during Zed's turn. So the thing is that the Queller probably, you're not going to play that in like the next 2 turns. So I think there's no point in not just running it out there. He also didn't attack with his Thraben Inspector, which seems really weird. Like, incredibly weird. Although, I'm not sure how much it matters, but I think that attack is pretty free. So, I imagine Arthas is gonna play the Woodland Bellower here. Yes. And the reason for that is that your opponent held up 3 mana on his last turn, so the Queller is pretty obvious. So I wonder what he's gonna find. Maybe just a Steel Leaf Champion. Just kill Trinket ASAP. I like that line. Yeah, he found the Steel Leaf Champion. And this is another attack for 5, and this game looks very over. You probably Collected Company before blocks, because it's obvious that Zed isn't gonna do anything else. So, let's see what the Collected Company hits. He has to hit something real good. Like, maybe like double Reflector Mage would do something. We'll see. Let's see what he hits. But I think that Zedrus just was the better player. This is Zedrus, by the way. Dramoka's command is in fact not a creature. Thraben is back there. If that's one of the cards, he's in trouble. Whoa. I mean, the collected company whiffing is gonna feel bad for him, but I think he just made a couple of misplays that cost him this game. He just made a couple of misplays in his fundamentals, I feel like. This isn't any good. So, then we'll just finish watching this game play out, but I imagine we're done here quite soon. So I think that you have to Reflector Mage the Steel Leaf champion here. It's not gonna do much, but I feel like you have to. The Zerg is gonna come down with haste as well next turn. This is not good. So let's see. This is a Reflector Mage. Targeting the... I mean, this makes sense. Pass the turn back. Then here's a Surak and an attack for like what? How much? 11, 16. That's a lot. What does Nissa's ultimate do? You don't want that here. You just want to keep plussing. Yep, this is a lot of damage. You can actually attack with the Mystic here, I think. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. The chance that Trinket goes for a double jump block here is pretty big, so the point of damage from the Mystic... Like, okay, he's scooping him up, but like, it's really greedy to block the Mystic, so I guess the Mystic attack was free. But that means that we're done here. GG's. No, that whiff did not make you lose. So let's try to find the next game. The next game is Nas versus C Squared. We actually saw both of these players on in round 1. Let's try and find it here. This is the wrong game. I misclicked. Can I leave, please? I'm lagging a bit. Hold on. Let's try to find that game. Here. Alright. So, this is Mono Black Eldrazi, or Black and Colorless Eldrazi, as you can better describe it, versus Grixis Dragons. So these are the other two 2-0 players. So we see an empty board, which is generally good for the Grixis control / Dragons deck. So the Thought-Knot Seer was Fatal Push with the trigger on the stack. That makes sense, because otherwise he will take the Fatal Push. So we're in Nas's turn here. Let's see if there's anything sweet in this graveyard that he can flash back. There's not, so I imagine this is gonna be play Lily plus Jace, or something in that order. It's unfortunate that you don't have the other black source to hold up Cross with Darkness as well, but you can't have everything in the world, can you? And then C Squared has 3 lands, which is not great. A Roscoe Contempt and a Ganti. Let me ask, what game is this? He actually minus the Lily with no creatures in his graveyard. That's a rather bold choice. Okay, so C squared is up again. Alright. Nice. Another land is not what you're looking for here. So the question here is if you Roscoe's Contempt either the Chase or the Lily, or if you play Gonti. And I feel like you'd want to play the Gonti here. But we'll see what he ends up going for. Yes, the Gonti. So I'm very interested in seeing what that's going to find. It's always fun seeing Gonti. I just love that card. I think this card is really fun. It's also really well designed, I think. I like it a lot. It's be a shame when it rotates out of standard, because it's not going to see modern play. I mean, it sees plays in Frontier, so that's something. The Torrential Gearhawk doesn't really have any good targets here. I mean, there's the fail push, I suppose, but and it's also just like an ambush viper, which is decent enough. So I'm really hoping that C squared actually had something good of his Conti. So now I think that the -2 on the Lily is really interesting. It paid off, obviously. Oh, and here's Nicol Bolas. I think Nas is pretty far ahead at this point. And I'm not sure how many creatures he plays, but it's a pretty risky play nonetheless. I'm not sure which is better. I haven't played the deck before, and I trust Nas, so that's an easy land to discard. And also the Urborg, because you don't want to fix his mana for him. The Gonti currently has -2 attack. So C squared is going to untap. He's going to draw a Reality Smasher. Well, if there's a draw that gets him back in this game, that's probably it. As easy to stop as it is to comprehend. Okay. Damn, these flavor text. So the option here is if you want to play Contempt on most likely the Chase, or if you want to just jam a Reality Smasher into the Liliana. I like just playing the Reality Smasher. You do know about Crux of Fate though, but I feel like you have to put on some pressure, because if you don't, he's just gonna keep plussing his walkers, you know. You might actually want to smash it into Chase, because that one is the closest to ultimating. I'm not sure. I feel like the problem with Roscoe's Contempt is that it just doesn't quite do enough. It still leaves behind 2 game-winning threats. If you take the Lily, there's still a Jace that's 3 turns away from ultimating, and so this is in fact Reality Smasher. And a Nicol Bolas that's pretty big, and he's gonna go after the Lily. Yeah, it's debatable. I don't mind it though. And Crux of Fate is going to be a one-sided board wipe here, which is pretty sweet. So I think that Nas is deciding if he wants to block with his Nicol Bolas to preserve the Liliana. And honestly, I feel like you just let the Liliana die. It's not doing a whole lot here on this board, and you've got the Crux of Fate to just wipe the board here. And considering that C squared only has 2 cards in his hand, I think I like just letting the Lily die, untapping, wiping the board, swinging for 4 with your dragon. He's actually gonna jump block. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Although the thing is that if you board wipe here, you can always get it back with the Liliana later. Is that what he's thinking? It's debatable. So Crux of Fate is gonna wipe the board. Lily's gonna take up, Jace is gonna take up, and I feel like Nas is in a really good position here. He's also got the Torrential Gearhawk. to potentially flash something back later. His list looks really sweet. 3, 6, 7. So Thought Not Seer or Contempt here. I think you can wait a turn on the Contempt. Yes, I think you can actually wait a turn. We should also notice that C² has 2 Blighted Fans, so winning with creatures is gonna take a while for Nuss because he has to get through all of those lands. But I think that you want to play Thought Not Seer. What's this? What's happening here? Let me check the chat. Cost your command 2 Lily, you discard. Wait, how did he do that? Oh, okay. So he got a Colligan's command off of his Gaunty, and he was able to make him discard the Cross of Darkness and also Rascal's Contempt the Jace. Oh, that's a sweet play. I'm still not sure if I like playing the Rascal's Contempt over the Thought Not Seer. So Nuskar's gonna Gearhook now. Okay, this is also a really good play though. Dig to make him discard a card, get back Nicol Bolas. Oof, that hurts. I might have actually played the Thought Not Seer in C² spot. So I imagine we're gonna see a Blighted Fan activated. Yep. That makes sense. Because you know about the Gearhook, and if he has a removal spell to flashback with the Gearhook that actually kills your Thought Not Seer, and you Thought Not Seer while he has a Gearhook in hand, you just give him a free card. So I imagine that Nas is going to play Nicol Bolas here, and that's probably gonna eat the other Blighted Fan activation, and now we're onto a very level playing field with both players having no cards on hand. I can only imagine that Nuskar's draw will be a little better on average. Okay, here's a question: do you use the Grasp or do you Blighted Fan? He preserves the land. I like that. You might need the mana at some point. So we'll see what Nus draws. That's Dragonlord Silumgar. I think you wait on that. You just hope he doesn't draw Thought Not Seer, and if he plays any creature that's not Thought Not Seer, you're happy. Firing of the Colligan's command. Just checking Nuskar's hand real quick. I think you can maybe wait on that because he only has 2 cards in hand, but the extra information is always nice, so that's all fine. A land for Nus. Might as well play the Drowned Catacomb now that he knows about it. There's a lot of nothing happening in this game all of a sudden. Warping Will. That's a sweet card. Counters a sorcery spell. Exiles a creature. Okay. Do you make a sign here? No, you don't. Of course not. I mean, I'm not sure what sorceries are in Nuskar's deck. There's Crux of Fate. Ooh, and it can exile Jace. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. So Jace is gonna get played. It's gonna get Warping Willed. And then we're back to C². Nus is up technically 2 cards, but one of them is a land and one of them is a Silumgar. Okay, the fun thing is that Silumgar's ability is not a spell, so he won't actually have to discard from the Reality Smasher, and Silumgar is going to be huge here. Because it's going to steal the... I mean, obviously it's going to steal the Reality Smasher, but then there's 8 power on Nuskar's board all of a sudden. And the Edict effect also won't do a lot, because you can just Edict your Reality Smasher and still have a 3/5 flyer left over. Oh, hold on. I did not think about that, but there's an Endless Sense here. exile target creature you control, and then he's gonna also... Okay. That's sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's first gonna Blighted Fan, and then next turn, and he's able to cast Matter Reshape, and then next turn he can also get back... Oh, he doesn't have the mana, my bad. But then next turn he can get back the Reality Smasher. That's pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if Nas also missed that. For... He doesn't actually have the mana to both get back the Smasher and play Reshaper. So... Oh, he's actually just gonna kill Jace. I don't mind that either. The Planeswalker's pretty threatening, I think. There's like some good cards there that he can flash back. So I think here you play Thought-Knot Seer first. Makes sense. It is worth noting that sacking the Endless Sands here does take away your only colorless source. So the search is gonna get exiled. So I would actually wait on that until I've played the other cards in my hand. You're not gonna win this by... Like, there's a decent chance Nas will be able to answer the... Oh, Liliana is a good draw here. That can get back a Reality Smasher or a Thought-Knot Seer. So I imagine he's gonna minus the Liliana for Reality Smasher would be my choice. This game is sweet. This Endless Horizons is doing a lot of... Endless Sands, it's called. It's doing a lot of work. This is pretty cool. Honestly, I thought Nas would probably have this, because he had like 2 Planeswalkers and a Nicol Bolas in play, but the lands are doing a lot of work for C squared. Like, they are doing a lot of work. He's gonna get back the Gonti. Yeah, I also like that. So Nas just drew a deck through time. Well, if there's a card that can get him back in this game, it's probably that one. So he's just gonna do it now. It's also worth noting that Nascar is a little ahead in his deck. He has less cards left. If this game goes really long, that might be a factor. I don't think so, though. You can't play the Fairy in this deck, of course, so you will at some point deck yourself. So let's see if you find something good. There's a Disdainful Stroke. That's good because you know about the Gonti. And what else? Another Dick Through Time. Oh, that's sweet. Does he have enough cards in his graveyard to flash that back? He does. Oh, that's pretty sweet. So you can just cast another Dick Through Time here. Talk about card advantage. Card is really good. I mean, we all knew that, but... So, I imagine that Nos will just play the Dick Through Time here. I wonder if he's afraid about decking, if he's thinking about that. Don't think so, to be honest. So if C-Squared manages to find another untapped land, he can play both the Matter Reshaper and the Gonti. That's pretty sweet. I'm loving this card. I'm just so amazed by how this card actually managed to do something, you know? It's pretty cool. So, let's see what Dick Through Time is finding here. Leaving a Dick Through Time in his graveyard. 1 or 2. Yeah. Creatures for Liliana and good spells for Gearhulk and a Crux of Fate for Chase. I like that. So let's see what he finds here. I would imagine he's looking for Liliana. I mean, other big stuff, more big stuff. Gearhulk is gonna be really good. So, the question is, do you hold up Gearhulk or do you play Bolas and hold up Disdainful Stroke? He's going for Bolas, I think. Yeah, I like that because you know about the Gonti and you have the disdainful stroke for it. There's a waste. Okay, that's pretty nice. The attack for 3 is of course free because if he blocks in the Lily pluses, the Nicol Bolas will die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's actually only one land off flipping Nicol Bolas and so this is gonna be met with a disdainful stroke. I like that. And playing Gearhulk, not quite there though. So he's gonna plus on Bolas, but Bolas will still be able to take out the Lily, importantly. Let me read this actually. Okay. I'm not sure if there's disallows, but being able to disallow this ability would be huge. I haven't seen them yet though, and we've seen like most of his deck, so I imagine there's no disallows in his deck. An attack for 2 on the Lily, that makes sense. And then the Gearhulk is gonna probably just go for Dig Through Time here. Do you do that now or do you wait? I think you can actually afford to wait because you might wanna instead of going for Dig. No, actually I think what you wanna do is you wanna just hold up the Gearhulk and then contempt the Reality Smasher when it attacks. And then Nicol Bolas being able to, he's gonna flip it now, that also works. Get a Reality Smasher or something, get a Thought Knot Seer. I think you can actually get a Reality Smasher or maybe a Liliana depending on what he feels like. You know about the Smasher, so I think you want to go Liliana. You can actually -4 to just get back a Smasher, and I think you're in really good shape then, because you still have the Gearhulk. So, I actually have no idea when this round is supposed to end. But time will get called eventually, because it looks like we're also going to play game 3, and these games are taking relatively long. Oh wait, of course, that also works. There's a Gearhulk in his graveyard, so he can... And Gearhulk actually stonewalls Reality Smasher quite nicely. So he got a Vraska's Contempt and a Scarab God. Ooh, this game is over. 18 cards left in this deck, but this game is going to be over really soon. Arc of Vraska, I mean, not a bad card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not quite on this camp, but he's gonna die really quickly. And his lands almost managed to pull C-squared back in, but there's just a little too much value in the Grixis deck. So, I mean, getting back the Reality Smasher doesn't really do a whole lot, and you can do it at instant speed, so you might as well wait. And you can actually block the Gearhulk for a turn with the Reshaper by just saying block, and then before damage exile it with the Endless Sense. Don't wait a turn. If the Gearhulk decides to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, that was a Nicol Bolas plus, huh? Okay, he's also got 2 activations of the Scarab God here. Is there another Gearhulk somewhere? So you can... get like a Reality Smasher and a Dragon Lord Skillimgar or something sweet like that. So I imagine the player has to block and Endless Sand it before damage. This card is actually surprisingly decent. Or you do this and try to double block. But double blocking gets blown out by the Roscoe's Contempt in Nasa's hand super hard. I mean, I don't think it matters a whole lot anymore. Oh, you can actually even use the Grasp. I don't think it matters that much anymore. I imagine double block was still. Oh, or he's just gonna do this. Steal a Reality Smasher with instant speed. This is fun. Alright, I think we're about done here. I think it's time for C-Square to scoop him up. Yes, it is definitely time for C-Square to scoop him up. He's incredibly dead. So that means we're going to game 3. The Grixis deck is really sweet. I also didn't see Selimgar scoring. With how many dragons you're playing, you might as well, right? The card is really good if you get it to use it as a 2-mana counterspell, just a counterspell. So after this game, I think we're taking a bit of a break because I want something to drink and such. So, Transgress the Mind, Search for Skanta, Collective Brutality, and... Why would you play Vogelwald's in the deck? Not sure. Oh well. So I imagine C-Squad is gonna go for a Collective Brutality. There's a Karn. Karn gets to resolve, that's big. I didn't see many counterspells in Nels's list. I like his list a lot though. It grinds really well. I think it might not be that good versus a control deck that has a lot of counterspells, but he's obviously doing well with it. So, do you search or do you transgress? He searches. Yeah, I like that. So this is gonna be probably a Matter Reshaper from C-Squared. He's gonna fetch. Oh, or he's gonna play Lily. That also makes a lot of sense. Lily's pretty good. Then play Karn next turn. Planeswalker Festival. Oof. And Nazcar did just miss his third land drop, and that might actually decide this game in a bit. He needs to find his land like next turn, and if he doesn't, he's in a whole world of trouble. Taking the Karn, that makes sense. So I think you just play your Reality Smasher here. I like doing that. Just put some pressure on. He's missing his land drop, so you just want to go fast. So let's see what he draws. Okay, he did manage to find the land. That's really important. So I imagine he's gonna play a Liliana. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. So now Kalitas is pretty sweet. You can also, you have a lot of options there. You can, I mean two really. You can play Kalitas or you can contempt the Liliana. But looking at this attack, he's gonna play Kalitas, and I don't mind that play. I think it's pretty decent. Okay. I'm getting tired, man. It's been a long day. I only went to bed at like 5 AM last morning, so I'm pretty tired. So we'll see. He's got 4 mana. You can. I might just contempt the Liliana. You like if this Liliana gets the ultimate, you're in trouble. I mean, it won't because there's a Roscoe's Contempt, which I imagine he's gonna fire off now. You know about the collective brutality, so I really don't like playing Jace. You can also. He's actually gonna minus it. Wait, why is he minus did a miss? Is that what happened? Yes, I don't like that play. I mean it. I mean I think. Actually, now I think about it, I do like it because you know it's gonna die next turn anyway. You don't really care about some damage to your face, so you might as well try to get some value out of it while you can. So back to C² we go. I imagine that what we're gonna see is an attack of the reality, the Matter Reshaper into the Liliana. The Kalitas going to Nas, and we fire off a Collective Brutality to probably. I'm either the Detective Time or the Cross, of course. I don't know which is correct. So we'll see what he does. I think you don't want to discard the Evolving Wilds because you get to potentially. He's not actually gonna play the Collective Brutality. I think that's weird and greedy. Knowing what you're dealing with is pretty, like, useful. I wonder if Field of Ruin is in C² deck. We didn't see it last game. It seems pretty good. It's a colorless source that also deals with, like, Escanta mainly. So you can dig through time for just 2 blue. And then grasp the Kalitas. That would make sense to me. And if C² had one more, if this hadn't been a tap land, he could have actually mirror pulled the Kalitas in response and then sacked the original one to the Legend Rule. That would have been sweet. And he's gonna, yeah, this play makes a lot of sense. I forgot that Field of Ruin was a thing. So in response to the Evolving Wilds activation, which is a pretty weird timing, but okay, he Field of Ruined the Mirror Pool. Makes sense. And then he's gonna probably grasp the Kalitas and fire off Dick to time end of turn. Yes, so that happened. Predictions on point, you know. And I think it's about time that C² decides to actually fire off this Collective Brutality. So here's a Matter Reshaper. Yes, and here's Collective Brutality. So Addicted Time in response, and then just hope that you can either find 2 good non-instant or sorceries, or find a bunch of creatures and planeswalkers. That also works. Addicted Time is such a good card. I just keep wondering how they ever thought that this would be like a balanced card, even like remotely balanced, in the same like set as the fetches as well. Oh well, I don't mind it. It's a fun card. I think it's strong, but it's not too strong for the format, I think. So that's really nice. Okay. So he found a Champion of Wits. Is that in his deck? And the land. Okay. Okay. So the collective brutality is gonna whiff now, and I think it's like if you'd fired it off a turn earlier, you could have taken either the grasp or the dig, and that would have been a lot better. Oh, and Torrential Garruk is pretty sweet. I think there's a Rascal's Contempt in here somewhere, right? Yeah. So when he attacks, you Gearhulk block one, Contempt the other one. That's a strong play. I mean, there's a Contempt for the Gearhulk, so one gets to live, but it's still a pretty strong play. I mean, the Jizz is kind of up when you just pause a turn here. It's pretty. I mean, you can do a pretty good guess that there's a Gearhulk in your hand, but I feel like Gearhulk is just a lot better than all your other options here, because even if the Gearhulk will go to exile, so you can get it back with Lily. That's kind of a shame. But he is in fact deciding to huddle the Gearhulk, so we'll see what happens. I don't mind the Outnot Seer either. I mean, attack first, obviously, but. So here's a Gearhulk. To contempt one of the Reshapers. I think you let that happen. I mean, if there was nothing else in his hand, activating the Blighted Fan. Oh wait, that only targets opponents. Never mind. I was saying, well, he can sack it, I guess, but not to be. And he's also just got a Thought-Knot Seer in his hand, which is like pretty good. So. Squared is probably thinking on if he wants to maybe Ruskus Contempt the Gearhulk in response, which he is going to do, it seems. Yeah, you do it now so he can't block with it. Makes sense. And pause the turn. So, I imagine that Nas will just lead up with a Champion of Wits, see what he finds. He's probably gonna discard the land and the Jace or something. No, the other champion. Oh, of course. There's another Champion of Wits in your hand, so you might as well discard that. And this is Liliana. That will just plus on the Reshaper, that makes sense as well. I don't hate playing Kalitas here because you can attack the Lily for free, but this is also pretty good. So I imagine that you're taking the Dragon Lord here. Yes. Ooh, another dig through time. That card's doing work again. There's one lost this the second game as well. Just when I thought he was in trouble, he just repped a bunch of dig through times and then he won the game. That's how easy it is. It is kind of annoying that you have to give up a lot of your graveyard here though. You can only leave... Oh. What actually happened? The game ended quite abruptly, I'm not sure. Oh, time. Okay, so apparently time was called in the round, I missed that. But so that means that we are taking a small break for me to like get my voice back, you know, drink something, and we'll be back for round 4 in a minute. So